Possession is defined as the negative intrusion of a certain entity into a person, something that absolutely anyone can acquire from the astral world. Some types of entities coexist with people throughout their lives, managing their influence without causing discomfort. These relate to bad thoughts, low deeds, or incorrect actions. However, there are entities that disrupt a person's existence, turning their life into constant darkness. This can be deliberately done through magical rituals by sorcerers and witches. Who can possess a person? 1. An entity can be a creature from the non-physical world. By attaching to a person, it can control their thoughts and actions. 2. It could be the spirit of a deceased person who, for some reason, got lost and couldn't find their way to the afterlife. 3. It could be a demon draining a person's health and strength. When an entity attaches itself to a living person, like a parasite, it embeds itself in their energy structures. It starts feeding on the life energy of the host, condemning them to suffering. Some entities not only control the body and soul but also manipulate the person's consciousness, subjugating their will and dominating their entire personality. Several types of entities can be distinguished. Ancestral. These are entities that pass from one host to another across generations. They could be family protectors like demons or deceased relatives. Random. These are entities that manage to intrude into a person randomly due to their weakened energy field. This can occur when a person is ill or unconscious. They do not protect the host but instead parasitize them, draining their energy and further weakening them. Summoned for protection. These are entities intentionally attached to a host to provide protection from dark forces. Bringing about destruction. These are entities specifically attached to a person with the aim of destroying them, driving them to suicide, weakening the protection placed on them, draining them completely, and making the person's life unbearable. Several signs can indicate that something unpleasant is happening to a person. 1. When everything starts falling apart in one sphere of human life. Relationships deteriorate, job loss, money disappears, constant illnesses plague them. 2. When a person wakes up feeling tired and broken. They often experience headaches, lethargy, and apathy. 3. When a person does one thing while their inner voice tells them to do the opposite. There's a split in actions. The person cannot make decisions and is constantly unsure of their choices. This same division can occur in feelings, where the person cannot decide on their emotions and constantly struggles internally, unable to make even the simplest decisions. 4. When a person suddenly changes for the worse, especially noticeable under the influence of alcohol. Alcohol changes a person's personality beyond recognition, and they start behaving erratically. Such individuals are said to be possessed by demons. 5. When a person frequently experiences memory lapses, not remembering their actions, despite others noting their normal behavior during those times. 6. When a person starts experiencing various phobias, fears, nightmares, hallucinations, and unexplained anxieties, both for themselves and their loved ones. They constantly anticipate something bad happening and fear for their future. They experience panic about their life. 7. When a person starts talking often about death and expresses a lack of desire to live. They begin to feel cold and frequently dream about cemeteries and the deceased. Nothing brings them joy. It seems like the entire world is crumbling around them, and they are falling into an abyss along with it. 8. When a person suddenly develops new taste preferences and habits. For example, they never smoked before but started chain smoking. Or they smoked one brand of cigarettes but suddenly switched to another. Or they were vegetarians but suddenly became meat eaters. A person may become pathologically greedy, whereas they were generous recently. They may become overly suspicious, jealous, lose control over their emotions. 9. When an unpleasant odor emanates from a person, and their hair, skin, and nails deteriorate. And they start feeling like everything smells bad. 10. When a person develops mental illnesses accompanied by strange visions, hallucinations, voices in their head. 11. When a person loses energy, becomes lethargic, constantly feels sleepy, is deeply depressed, and indifferent to life. They don't care about what's happening around them now or what will happen tomorrow. 12. When a person starts referring to themselves in the third person. 13. When a person's appearance changes. Their eyes may narrow due to swelling above and below the eyes. Their tongue may not fit in their mouth, and they constantly display it. They may develop puffiness on their face, warts, etc. The person themselves may start feeling uncomfortable physical conditions. For example, they start experiencing muscle spasms, changes in blood pressure, pulse, joint pain. A person may start hearing voices addressing them. When can an entity intrude into a person? Entities from the astral world come and attach themselves to a person's aura. There are many ways for them to latch onto a host. They can intrude during a person's surgery, when the person is helpless and under anesthesia. When a person suffers from head injuries. When a person is in an alcoholic or drug-induced state. When a person loses consciousness or experiences temporary memory loss. When a person is in a coma. When a person behaves inappropriately in a cemetery. When a person consciously desires to attach an entity to themselves. Out of hatred, envy, desire for harm, and death to others. During promiscuous sexual relations. When committing crimes. During improperly conducted magical rituals. Are there ways to get rid of an attached entity? It is possible to independently rid oneself of an attached entity, but it is quite problematic. Even specialists cannot do this if the host cannot adhere to the following rules: strive for self-improvement, understanding, and control of their emotions, actions, thoughts, words, and deeds. Then no priests or esotericists will be able to rid the person of entities forever. If it is not possible to turn to specially trained individuals, then one should try to get rid of the attached entity independently. Prayer. The most accessible way to rid oneself of an attached entity is through prayer. Entities fear high temperatures, so aquatic procedures are suitable: bath, sauna, bath. Light candles. It is better to choose a period of the waning moon and perform the ritual during the day, alone, so that the expelled entity does not move to another person. Start reading the Our Father as many times as necessary to expel the entity. Mentally imagine cutting off the parasite that has attached to you. You may feel a burning sensation in your limbs, tingling in your palms, and in rare cases, shivering like chills. Expulsion may not succeed in one day. If you haven't felt any of the above signs, continue the process. Typically, 3 days are sufficient for complete cleansing. Wax ritual. These can be wax castings, which can be done at any time, regardless of the season, moon phase, or time of day. Melt natural wax in a water bath and recite the incantation: living or dead, not born in this body, not conceived in this fruit, coming from outside, leave the head, shoulders, back, spine, do not sit with a hump, do not break the loins, do not gnaw the heels. Then pour the melted wax into a bowl of cold water. The solidified wax will indicate the entity that has attached to you. Repeat the ritual until the casting evens out. Finally, bury the wax in the ground and pour the water outside the house, luring the entity out. This ritual is done during the waning moon. Take a cup of milk and recite the incantation over it 13 times, sweet milk, not consumed by anyone, taken from the earth, filled with strength, for you, who gnaw the soul, it is poured. Come out, treat yourself, enjoy the sweetness. The person must spit into this milk. After that, it should be poured under a dry tree. After the ritual, church candles should be burned. Once the entity has been removed, the person begins to see the world differently. Life starts to shine brightly, and there's no need to share it with anyone else. Exorcism. People also seek help from the church to expel various entities, including demons. If a person is possessed by entities, their behavior changes during the exorcism. They may start shouting in a voice that is not their own, howling, crying, swearing, attacking people and the priest. Thank you for exploring yourself and the universe with me. Trust yourself, listen to your heart, and move forward with confidence and peace. Like and share this video with your friends if you found it helpful. See you next time on my channel, where we will continue to explore the mysteries of spiritual development and growth. Goodbye, and may light and wisdom always accompany you on your path.